In the legal world, there is a combination of forces that feed a corrupt and suffocating legal system for attorneys. Law schools, law professionals, judges, and even the firms themselves for whom you work create a system, a matrix, if you will, that is nothing like what you thought when you passed the bar exam. The purpose of this podcast is to help you escape this legal matrix, leading you out of the proverbial desert to be free of the bondage of the matrix. Hosted by Bryce D. Nyer, attorney at law with over 30 years experience in the trenches of civil and criminal litigation at the state, federal, and international levels. He's a highly accomplished and resourceful legal professional, a true master of his craft, and he's here to help you get your life back. Here's your host, Bryce D. Nyer.
All right. It's another episode of Escape the Legal Matrix with yours truly, Bryce D. Nyer, coming at you live from Fayetteville, North Carolina, home of Fort Bragg. Woo! What a week, what a day. Here with my trusty Labrador Retriever, Drake, our law firm mascot, always faithful and always eating if he's not sleeping. Always counter surfing for more food. So we got a great subject tonight. The topic is, will lawyers be needed anymore despite all this AI insanity? Yeah, and I'll tell you why I'm talking about this. So this AI stuff for the last couple of years, and especially in the last couple of months, is just being like touted. Greatest thing since sliced bread, oatmeal raisin cookies, IPA beers, whatever. And so I had this interesting conversation today, and I've had it before, with my podcast producer, Bryce Prescott of Media Automated. And this guy's fantastic. He's my brother from a different mother and one of the smartest people I ever met, superb in the media world and especially in podcasting. And he brought up some interesting points, some interesting topics that people really need to think about. And you can find him on TikTok, Instagram, all the major social media platforms. So we were talking today, and I was talking about one of these other programs that I've been associated with, and this new AI they're rolling out. It's in the coaching space, personal development stuff, and this particular person is doing it. Now, he's got solid credentials, no doubt about it. Most life coaches suck. They're not really life coaches, and they're just not. They just don't have what it takes. They can't walk to talk to walk, the whole thing. So Bryce Prescott and I were talking about this, and he had some valid points. And the AI cannot replace the empathy. It doesn't have a heart. It can't connect like human beings connect. And I have to agree with him. Now, I've not been a big fan of AI. A lot of people know that. And AI, I get, is a tool. It can produce calculations, access information, put videos together, websites and stuff at warp drive. And I get all that. But at the same token, I get concerned that everybody thinks that AI is the savior of the world, that it is a catch-all, save-all for everything. And the reality is that with everybody having access to the same AI programs or software, depending on which level and the quality, it really does kind of equalize everybody on the battlefield. You still have to have ingenuity. You still have to be able to communicate and develop. You still have to be somewhat unique. And really all AI is a collection of software programs or circuitry or whatever the hell it is, whatever you want to call it. But it comes from a collection of human interactions and humans, period. Now, it kind of seems to be developing a life on its own and thinking like a machine. And what's really mind-boggling is some of these movies over the past decades, like iRobot with Will Smith, Minority Report with Tom Cruise, and other types of movies that have some sci-fi to it. You look at those movies, 10, 20 years ago, and you look at today, and dudes, ladies, I mean, it's reality now. You look at just the power of your smart devices. But here's the thing. They're still not human. They're just not human. And so for lawyers in the so-called legal profession, I call the legal matrix, where is your future? Where is the future of any particular industry? Some say, well, you're getting over worried. It's not going to replace people, blah, blah. Well, maybe not. I think for a lot of activities, it is. And I do think a lot of people in professions are going to go by the wayside. You're not going to need as many people. And you're going to be able to run and operate and lead your organizations with less people because the automation AI programs will be able to do quite a bit. Now, saying that, I like over the last couple of days, I call certain businesses and they have these AI receptionists, and I can tell the difference. Sometimes it's very difficult because these AI programs are going to get better, but I absolutely despise talking to an AI receptionist. I just hate it. It's the same thing when you call and it's like press 1 to speak English or Spanish or some other language, unicorn, whatever the hell it is. And then you go through 15 prompts. I'm like, just give me a freaking human being, just a human that I can communicate with. And it's the most frustrating thing. Technology can be good, but it can also lead to just complete disconnection. We think like these smartphones and this AI, and lawyers think it's, hey, it makes everything faster. It gives me more time. No, what it does is it really makes you try and keep up and go faster. And I'm not convinced that you're really saving time per se. Sure, on document preps or research, you're going to save some time. But the more that you save this time, then you're filling it with something else. I mean, I just think back to, God, man, when I was just like a teenager. Seriously, we didn't have smart devices. We didn't have the internet. We didn't have any of this crap. And lawyers there, and they had, electric typewriters, and they had Xerox machines and stuff. And there was this human connection. There was just something different about it. It was just genuine. It was authentic. And you came away from a conversation or an interaction not feeling like you were talking to a robot. I mean, that's the way I feel today. I feel like I'm talking to a robot. Like everybody's a robot. Nobody's real. Nothing's real anymore. There's just something about the human heart. And when I was talking to Bryce Prescott, it just made me think even more. And after we got off the phone, I kept thinking about it more and more today because I keep getting all these people wanting to contact me from like LinkedIn and all these other major platforms about AI for lawyers, this, that, from different companies that are exclusively for lawyers. And it just turns me off. I'm just so sick and tired of hearing about it. People are like, oh, you just don't want to deal with it. I'm like, oh, give me a break. I mean, the AI is integrated in a lot of the stuff we use in the law firm for the legal research and other stuff. And we use it for financial calculations and all that. But where it's gone and where it is and where it's going, some of the professions, I don't know, legal profession, I'm telling you, there's going to be, you're not going to have a need for lawyers in certain legal areas anymore. I can see a day when you go into a courthouse, it's kind of happening now, and there's a kiosk. And then this human being comes on, and, it's a human being, and you can do just a simple absolute divorce, and maybe your spouse is right there, and it turns to the spouse, and you use a credit card or whatever, and, authenticate your identification with your driver's license, real ID, or some other, form of ID. You pay the fee, it asks questions, you answer them, it's like, hey, they draft the lawsuit, it says, I accept service, and it prompts it. Then they spit out the divorce judgment. I mean, that can really be done. It's not impossible at all. And it's just, so you're not really like for divorce lawyers and stuff, there's some stuff that they're going to get replaced. Same thing with like traffic law, things of that nature. I mean, they have these courts where the pro se courts, do it yourself, where you go and talk to the prosecutor and stuff. Well, there's going to come a point in time, I'm not going to do that. You're just going to go online and you're going to interact maybe with an AI judge, an AI prosecutor. And they're going to say, this is what you're charged with. Here are your options. This is the plea offer, which is all the DAs do anyway. And instead of, citing you for, driving 90 miles an hour and 55, we'll give you a plea offer of just 9 miles over the speed limit. We won't revoke your license, but you'll pay a $500 fine and a $250 cost to court as an example. And you'll do it. Because you can do it right there from your own home. Maybe you're charged with a DUI. I don't know. I don't think they may do those right away by AI, especially if you're facing going to the clinker. Unless you're like, well, okay, well, you accept this plea, you'll do 30 days in jail, and you will report in by this date. And if you don't, then we're going to sentence you to a year for not showing up, something like that. So it's not impossible. I mean, look at today's world of where everything is with all this technology and the AI. And again, I don't think it's all that healthy for people. I mean, all this, lack of privacy, the spying, the Orwellian governments like the UK, what's going on in the EU. I mean, you say hurty words on social media and the AI programs pick it up. Next thing you know, the law enforcement's knocking on your door, you're getting charged with something, and you're going to prison for saying hurty words because you criticize the government or some other policy, something like that. It's ridiculous. So lawyers and in other professions, this whole AI thing, it has no heart. It has no soul. And that's the difference. See, that's the key difference. That's like when, again, I don't know what your beliefs are, but I believe in Jesus and God. I do. And I think God created the world and he created, man, woman, he did. And, we're spirit and flesh and bone. And AI is not. And AI appears to me to be the counterfeit of what God created. That's just the way I feel. That's the way I believe about it. I think AI is the counterfeit of everything. It's the counterfeit of everything human. And so the future, I mean, we're just moving along at such a pace of, gosh, I don't know how to describe it, that we're all becoming artificial. I mean, think about it. Even as a lawyer, we talk about all the professions, but think about your profession, what you do. How often really now do you interact with people, like shaking the hand, giving them a hug, with your loved ones or with your customers, your clients? How often are you really seeing them now? Or is it just on a Zoom screen or a phone call or some other AI crap that you may have, AI receptionist, AI paralegal, maybe AI lawyer? I don't know. But it just takes the humanity out of it. And when I think, again, going back to when I was a teenager and when I was in college, and man, life wasn't like super simple, but it was a lot simpler than it is today. You just didn't have all these distractions. You got on a phone. You went and you met with people in person. You went to parties in person. You made plans in person. You didn't have all this technology. You were forced to interact. And I got to tell you something. The world was a lot better then. A lot better. Technology doesn't necessarily make life better for everything. And you know what? The only thing that has changed since Cain and Abel, if you know the story of Cain and Abel, you might want to read it. One brother murders another brother. Okay? The only thing that's changed since Cain and Abel is the technology with which we screw each other over. That's it. We're still human beings with hearts and minds and souls and right, wrong, sin, or don't sin, and choices and judgment, free will. AI doesn't have free will. It doesn't have a heart. It doesn't have a soul. It just knows commands. And when it thinks on its own, it may ignore your command. That's a dangerous thing. See, at least with the humans, when you're told to do something, you still, if you're a real human being, if you still have that conviction in you from God, you can still say no. You can still say no. Like in World War II, there were SS, there were not, German Wehrmacht, Nazi soldiers that when ordered to kill innocent civilians refused to. And they got sent back to some unit or they got executed themselves. But an AI robot that has no heart, no soul, like, in certain movies you see, I could see a day when a superpower like China or somebody else, they had these robots. I mean, I've seen actual, video clips of robots for law enforcement or otherwise, even robotic dogs. They get a wire or screw loose, so to speak, and you can't shut them down. They could hurt or kill somebody. So you've got to look at your own life, your own profession. I mean, how artificial have you become? How artificial have all of us become? I just see it every day. I mean, I was just in a restaurant, every time I go to a restaurant, what are people doing? They're having artificial conversations. They're not even looking at each other. They're wolfing down their food and they're glued to their damn phones. You know what I do? I shut my phone off. I just shut it off. And I only check my message in case there's an emergency call from a family member from out of town and somebody's watching my house, just to check to see if there's an issue going on. You got to do that. I get it. But man, we're just becoming so artificial. And AI just seems to me to be the counterfeit image of God. Really, seriously. Everybody's worshiping this thing, this AI thing. And people rag on me all the time because I criticize it, Well, you better get with it. You better get with the program, Or you're going to be left behind. Oh, okay. Maybe it's better to be left behind than be a lemming going over the cliff. What do you think about that one? Put that in your cappuccino and smoke it too. Man, I tell you, I just, having that conversation with Bryce Prescott today, I guess it just really made me think and kind of got me wired up in a good way to have that conversation because, the last couple of weeks, they've been kind of rough. And, I thought, man, I think I'm losing my sense of humor. Oh, wait, I'll just go on AI and ask them for a sense of humor. It doesn't work that way. I'm going to tell you what, I would give up all the technology and all the smart devices I own, everything, if I could just go back in time to when I was in high school or college. I do. So I could have my Mustang that didn't have and I had a sport Mustang too. The good ones, the real muscle car, not that crap they built years later. And, 8 cylinders, 302. And man, that thing just rocked and rolled. And without all this technological crap on it. And, I don't need a cell phone. I just stop, get 50 cents or a quarter, go to a telephone booth at 7-Eleven. And while I'm there, I get a Mountain Dew and a Snickers bar. Before that was all ruled that it's horrible for you and causes cancer and blah, 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 and all this other crap. I mean, everything's just artificial. Artificial relationships, artificial images, artificial sweeteners, artificial insemination, artificial this, artificial that. There's just no soul. There's no human context to it. So you got to look at your profession. You got to say, where in my world, in the profession I'm in or the employment I'm in, is everything just so artificial that one day I'm just not going to have a job anymore. I'm not going to have a future. I'm not going to have a profession. And then what are you going to do about it? maybe people that just have the simple, I guess, I don't know if there's such thing as a simple job, but a simpler job. Maybe they're the winners. The ones not so dependent on all this AI crap. I would love to just go one day and just I'm going to take my phone. I'm going to throw it in the ocean. I'm going to go get as much cash as I can. It's kind of hard to do these days. And I'm going to cancel, I think I'm going to cancel every credit card. And I'm just going to go off the grid. And I wonder how I do. Amish do it. I don't know to what extent. I'm not saying I want to be Amish, but I don't know how much technology they're allowed to use under their lifestyle or the way they live. Maybe a little bit, maybe not much. I don't know. But they seem to get along with the horse and buggy. I guess maybe they have cell phones. Hell, I don't know. But it's just a thought. Sometimes I think these crazy thoughts at 2:00 in the morning, if I could just go somewhere where they just couldn't find me near a beach or a coastline, and I didn't have all this electronic stuff where they could reach out and find me. But the problem is in today's world, when we've got all this AI stuff that tracks you and catalogs everything and puts you in a filing cabinet, electronic filing cabinet, you can't do anything without technology. Passports, driver's license, social security numbers, real ID. And now in the UK with the insane digital ID, they're trying, they're mandating all that insanity too. Drives me crazy. Makes me want to cut my wrist with a pencil eraser. But, yeah, see Bryce Prescott. Thanks, man. You got me all wired up on all this stuff today with our chat. And then today, now I'm fired up. So anyway, think about it. Think about your life, where you're at personally and professionally with all this stuff. I mean, is AI the counterfeit image of God? Is it? I think it is. I think AI is just trouble. I do. I don't care what people say. I think AI is. I don't think it's a good thing. I just don't. You can rag on me all day long, But they said, all this technology, smartphones were smart and great, and look at all the problems we've had now. all the stuff that's happened with kids and people getting indoctrinated and everything else that's happened, the sex trafficking, all this stuff. I guess it's like anything, anything that's supposed to be good or helpful can be used for bad and evil purposes. But this AI stuff, I don't know. I would just give up everything I know, just go back in time and not deal with this. And just stay. I just want to go back to my 4 years in college and then it just start all over again and repeat, like the movie Groundhog Day or whatever one of those movies was, where I do my 4 years and it starts all over. I get to start all over. It was just the best time of my life. I didn't have all these techno problems and stuff, but I can't do that. So I guess I'll quit wasting my time wishing for it. So anyway, thanks a lot, Bryce Prescott. I'm going to go home now, take my faithful mascot, Drake the Labrador Retriever. I'm going to go home and I'm tired. I'm going to get some rest. I got to get up tomorrow and go fight the illegal matrix again tomorrow and do all the mundane, boring stuff. But I'll tell you one thing I'm not going to be. You know what that is? I'm not going to be artificial. I'm going to be real, raw, and relevant. All right. That's been another episode of Escape the Legal Matrix. Again, the topic tonight was, hey, is AI the counterfeit of God? You better ask that. Ask that better question. Ask the other better questions of where are you and where in your world are you being totally artificial and are you going to be replaced one day? Who knows? Eventually we all will when we all pass away, when we die. Somebody will take our place. And somebody will want your job, your desk. Anyway, it's been a great episode tonight. Love and light. And we are out of here.